Hello and welcome. I'm Stu and today's project is a small honey pot. I've got this off-cut of Laurel from a previous project. It's got a large crack in it and it's a little bit rotten around this edge here. So what I'm going to do is dig out all the rot and clean this crack out a little bit. Then I'm going to give it some of the old resin treatment. After that I'm then going to turn out this centre so that this glass will fit. This is so that it can be used for honey. I will then turn the outside to the desired shape I want, that of an old-fashioned beehive. I've got this other piece of wood here which is maple. With this I'm going to make the stirrer. For the lid of the pot I might use some of this corian or something similar, or I might find another piece of wood. Anyway, that's it, so let's get on with it. I'm going to use this cone-shaped router bit to dig out the rot and clean up the cracks. I've dug out all the rot and I've given the piece 2 coats of sanding sealer. Now I'm going to make up the mould for the resin. I'll hot glue the wood to this base, then make a mould on the outside for it. For the mould, I'm using laminating sheet. That's the mould finished now. I've reinforced all the joints with masking tape and applied more hot glue over each masking tape joint, which will hopefully stop it from leaking when the resin is poured. Because with this depth of resin you get a good thermal reaction, which produces quite a lot of heat that in the past has melted the hot glue, allowing the resin to leak out. I've mixed up some resin to try and imitate the colour of honey. Okay then, that's the mould filled up and there doesn't appear to be any leaks so far, so that's looking good. Right, it's now a couple of days later and time for the mould to be removed now. The first thing I'm going to do is cut out the hole for the glass to fit in. I've drilled out a hole near enough to the right depth of the glass's length, but it's not the right diameter. I've got to make it a little bit larger, so I'm going to have to turn that out now. To turn the hole to the right size, I'm going to need to fit the steady. So it means now to true this up, because it's not quite true at the moment, and then I'll be able to fit the steady on, and then turn the inside out. I've fitted the steady, and now I'm going to attempt to turn out the inside of the pot to the size of the glass. That looks pretty close. Maybe I'll just have to go down a little bit further. Now that's done, I've fitted a centre turning boss and removed the steady. I'm now going to turn the outside of the pot, which is designed to resemble an old-fashioned beehive. Right, now I'm going to get on and start to turn the stirrer. I'm going to turn it down into a cylinder first, and then draw the design on it. I've moved over to the chuck now to make it safer. It's been sanded up to 800 and it's extremely smooth. I'm not going to put any finish on it because it's going to go in the honey. I'm just going to part it off at this end. I've decided to make the lid out of a piece of African blackwood. Just to finish it off, I'm going to turn a little knob for the lid out of this. It's a piece of rosewood. All I've got to do now is fit my logo and then spray the bottom.